Hello there, welcome back to We Are Crafted in His Image. Before I get into today's project, which is going to be this really fun shaker box, I wanted to show that I, over on my blog, I have the sign-up sheet for April's Cocoa and Crafts class. And in that class we are going to be making these projects. Oh, put it this way. And this way. So you would, in the kit that you get for that, you'd make 2 of this card, you would make 2 of this card, you'll make 2 of this card, which is actually a pop-up stand-up easel card, and then 1 of the little treat bag, which actually comes also with some chocolate to go inside there. So if you're interested in that class, go over to my blog. There is a page, there's a tab at the top of the page, it says Cocoa and Crafts. Just check on that. You can read all the details and you can sign up there. So now let's get on to our project. This is, again, the Irresistible Blooms, which is the same stamp set we're going to use for this. And as soon as I saw it, as soon as I saw these dies, this one in particular, I knew I needed to make a shaker with it. And I've actually already made a shaker. I made it on a notepad, but that got sent to my daughter, and I didn't get any pictures of it before I sent it out. So I wanted to recreate and make a box, a little gift box. You can see and take the lid off. And yeah, it's a little shaker. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. And we're going to do, the second one we're going to do a little bit different than this one here. We're going to use just white for our lid and for the base. Now on my blog, there'll be a link in the description box down below. I will have all of the dimensions of how these are. So this is an 8 by 8 square. Excuse me. Actually, no, this one is not. This one is 7 and 7/8 square, and this is going to be the bottom of our box, and it is scored 2 inches in on all 4 sides. And then this is the top. We're actually going to start on the top. Excuse me. And this one is 8 inches by 6 inches, and again, all these dimensions will be listed on the blog. It's scored in 1 inch, 1 inch, and then 1 inch and 2 inches. 1 inch and 2 inch. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. We got to do a little bit of cutting to get ready. And what I'm going to do is, I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and fold this up so you guys can see the score lines a little bit better on the screen there. And then let me fold up on this one here, just this one. All right, there is another score line right here, but I'm not going to score on that one. I'm not going to fold on that one right yet. So this corner here is going to become a tab, and we want to kind of cut in on the edges of those tabs. And this one, though, you are going to cut in here, but on this line here, you want to cut very, very straight, and you want to cut it right on the edge of that score. Like that. And then we're going to go ahead and cut in that little mini triangle, little skinny triangle out of there. So there, oops, come here. There you can see. And I should probably put this back into manual focus so it doesn't go in and out on you a lot. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut straight along there. And then I'm going to cut in a wedge. And it's easier for me to do the wedge on this side from this direction. And the wedge doesn't have to be anything specific. You just want to get it so that when it gets tucked in, the top of this doesn't get in the way. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Let me go ahead and fold this score line. And I'll come back and do some burnishing on those in a minute. I just am scoring it so you can see it. Cut up the wedge there. Straight cut. Cut out a wedge. Straight. And a wedge. And then flip it over and do the last little cut off. Whoops. There we go. Alright, and the reason you want to cut that off, I'm going to fold just this middle section. These I'm not going to fold in. is when you put it in here and you fold that over, if you don't trim off those wedge pieces, a lot of times this doesn't want to fold over very well. There's just too much bulk there. So that makes it easier to do that. I am going to go ahead and pull in my bone folder here. And go ahead and do a good burnish down on those score lines, especially on these. Whoops, I didn't do the top one on that other side yet. Okay, these I'm not too concerned about, the little short ones. But these ones you want to be nicely scored, nicely burnished down. There we go. Alright, and then before I go ahead and fold up, I am going to go ahead and glue. I have a piece of window sheet cut at 3 7/8 inch squares, so it's just slightly smaller than the top. And we're going to go ahead and adhere that down. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. Come here. Kind of around the circle. Oh. I don't want it up on that ledge there on that one. Oh, why are you doing that? Oh, because it went over. Sometimes when you go around instead of a straight line, it slides the little plastic piece there that holds the adhesive. There we go. Okay, now make sure there's none of that sticking up there. I don't want any of that adhesive out. There we go. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this next step, but these are kind of lifted up a little bit, and I don't want it to accidentally get caught at some point in time and get torn off. So I am going to go ahead and put some adhesive on, just on the dots. And I'm going to use a fine tip glue pen just so that it's easier to get a little daub of glue. Check and make sure that's going to come out. There we go. And you don't necessarily have to do all of the, like the teeny tiny ones, you don't necessarily have to do. But you want a little bit to adhere those down so that it doesn't get caught at some point and lift off. Alright, and then we're just going to lay this down on top. And then I'm going to grab a large block, set that on there, and let that dry for a minute or so. And then on this piece, this is super easy. We're simply going to, again, I'm just lifting these up so that you can see the score lines. Normally I like to try to cut before I fold. It's a little easier to handle the paper when it's not bending on me, but then again it's also easier when you can see. So what I'm going to do here is the same thing. We're going to cut out a wedge, cut a straight edge, and then cut a wedge off of that. And you can do this one the same way, or you can actually turn it and do all four. There's multiple ways to do this. I'm actually going to turn on this one, and I'll show you why when I show you the other box real quick. There's that. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way around. Now when I did the other box, rather than rotating, let me do this real quick. Straight and a wedge. Okay, this one's ready. Now on the second box, or on the original box, instead of each of the tabs going in a different direction, I did it very similar to this one, where this tab here actually faced this direction, just like these do. However, I didn't take into account the fact that they're just slightly, because this is 3 7/8 inch, these are 2 inches wide, so my tabs ended up overlapping just slightly here, and I could have just trimmed that shorter Either way would have worked, but this way I don't have to worry about it. They're not going to cross over at all. So just another way to do it. I'm not going to need this, so I'm going to go ahead and close that up before it ends up getting dried up in there. Okay, so I'm actually going to go and go back to this one now that that is dry. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this. Now, when I did the inside of this box, I went ahead and put the foam around here, but then I had a hard time getting this to close up. So we're going to try a different way, and it is going to be a little more difficult to get that foam in there once these are all up, but it's still going to be easier than what happened the last time. So you guys, this is, you live and learn as you do it. Okay, that one wasn't adhered down all the way. There we go. Okay. A little bit of, actually I don't need the glue on this. I did this wrong. That's okay. I'll keep going. And I'll show you the better way to do it on the other side, but since I've already started it this way. There we go. Now, I do want glue on this flap. There we go. There. And now I'll roll out my handy dandy clothespins to hold this while it dries. Now the easier way to apply the glue for this, because the way this one is done, is simply to apply the glue on this, on both of these flaps right here. Just like that. And then you pull this in, pull that in, up and over. Make sure your edges are straight. And then you grab your clothespins. And my fingers are sticky. I need to, this glue always leaves my fingers sticky. Alright, now we gotta let this dry and we'll put the bottom together. Now the bottom though, this one, because I don't have that extra flap to go over, this one we do need to apply the glue to the actual tabs. So I'm gonna, and you do want to make sure you get glue right along this score line. Otherwise, your box will start to pull apart right here, and that, you definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick a clothespin there. Make sure your score and this edge of that paper is nice and straight. Tuck that one in there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put the adhesive on that one. There we go. Whoops, too much. There we go. And clothespin, and clothespin. Ta-da! Okay, bottom is done. We'll let that dry. Let me go ahead, bring this back in. This is going to be dry enough. And now, let's make a shaker box part. So, I'm going to pull in some of our foam adhesive strips. And try and finagle my way around here. You do want to try to get it, thankfully these are skinny enough you can wrap it around the circle, but you do want to get it somewhat close to the edge so that your shaker stuff that's inside actually can be seen. If you have it too far away, a lot of it will hide underneath there and then you won't be able to see it. My nose is running all of a sudden. Alright, and then I want to close this off. And then I do want to put a little bit of adhesive, a little bit of the dimensional up into those corners. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. It's easier to do one direction at a time. Ooh, I can go straight across on this one. And the reason I'm trying to get it up into the corners is because I don't want our designer, the piece that's going to be behind here, to get smooshed down in there when you put the lid on the box. Alright, let me grab another one. Oh, come on. Again, I wish I could have done this without having the sides up, but it was just too difficult to get the sides tucked in with the dimensionals there. So, we are making it work. I have to cut that one. And, oops, all of my little wedges just stuck to the adhesive. Alright, let's get this piece. And then we'll do one more piece in here. There we go. And now that will be well supported in there. Now for the fun stuff. Let's get some shakers in here. I'm going to grab a little spoon. And I'm going to put it all to one side. And I want to check it and see, because we have some one-sided items in here, there are some pearls and there are some gems, and I don't want them to be upside down in my shaker. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these up. The ones that look upside right now will be upside down in the shaker. So I want to flip them over. There's a gem. This might take a little bit of time, but not too much. And granted, I probably won't get all of them flipped over, but if I see one, I want to go ahead and flip them. Okay, that looks good. And then I want to put a little bit of the green in here as well. Pull out the green from our leaves. Let's see, the pearls are all facing the right. Oh wait, nope, there's one. There's one upside down. The gem is correct. Wow, these almost all went the right way this time. I think I want a little more pink in there. I want my pink to be a little more than my green. Okay. Woohoo! Now let's put the lids back on these. Get these out of the way. And then reach in here and pull all of the backings off. Thankfully we're not working with glitter, because sometimes the static from pulling off the paper will cause the glitter to stick to your adhesive. But we don't have any glitter in here. It's just sequins and pearls and okay, I'm gonna have to grab you. I can't reach in there. There we go. Got that one off. That one off. Two more. One and two. I think, oh, there's a little piece that tore. Come on. I'm trying to get it off without making everything bounce. Ah, there we go, there we go. And my finger's stuck. You little stinker. Got it. Okay. Now, I have taken a sheet of this paper here. I can't remember. I think it's Hello Irresistible. Love this paper. It's so pretty. Anyway, I took it. They're 6 by 6, so I cut a 4 by 4, or actually it's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I am going to put it the side I want face up. I'm going to put face down and put it down in there. Make sure everything's adhered. And voila, we have a shaker. Okay, then the extra piece from this paper I then stamped with, I believe I used Blushing Bride. And you can see here, I started with basic gray and it was too dark. I didn't want that color. I wanted it a little bit lighter. So I went with the Blushing Bride and I just stamped it right onto there and then used the die cut to cut it out. And then I used soft seafoam. This is a color I don't think I've used maybe a handful of times. I could probably count on my hand how many times I've used this color. But it is really such a pretty soft green. So I just stamped that onto our regular cardstock with the leaves, and we're going to put those in this corner. So dimensionals for the flower. Get a couple of these. And I put them just in the middle instead of all the way to the edge because I want to be able to tuck my leaves underneath it. And I want to go ahead and glue this one down before. Actually, I won't. I will do this. Set this here. Put a little bit of glue on the back of my leaves. And you know what you can also do before I do that? Grab my bone folder. I'm going to give my leaves a little bit of movement by giving them a little curl. Since this is a box, it's not going to go in an envelope. I can actually do this without worrying about it getting smashed. So I'll just give it a little bit of curl there, get that moving, and then I'll put a little bit of adhesive on the back side. Mostly just at the base so that all that curl I just did will be able to stay up. Okay, so this is going to go under here. And this one will go here, wrapping around the side of the box, like that. Give them a little push down. Now I'll take the backings off. Oh, I don't have my cup over here. And there we go. That'll need a minute or two for the glue to dry, but so now let's take our bottom off our box. And you know what? I should have done the bottom of the box in the Blushing Bride cardstock so that we would have a contrast. But here we have the main thing I wanted. The reason I changed the top of this one was because I wanted a little bit more of a contrast between that background, that designer series paper, and the box itself. And so here we have we have a white one, we have a Blushing Bride one with a bottom. I need to make the bottom out of the Blushing Bride so that it has that contrast. But what do you think? Here I used the bigger flower on this one, I used the smaller one on this one. It's really up to you. I think I like them both. I do. Anyway, all my pretties are there. That is my project for today. I hope you liked these. And don't forget to, if you're interested in my Coco and Crafts, to go over to my blog and get signed up for that. And until next time, God's love and blessings to you. Bye.